When I talked about this film with Evelyn Keyes years ago, she joked that Harry Cohn tried to sabotage her career by personally choosing her to play the role of Sheila Bennett. In her own words, Evelyn's on-screen popularity was based on her being adorable. And in this film, she is anything but. She did, however, have plenty of experience being sweaty and agitated on camera because she'd played her share of pregnant women in labor. This was something different. Evelyn recalled how upsetting it was to be shooting on location and overhear bystanders discussing how horrible she looked. "It's makeup, you idiots," she'd reply. Well, she used something stronger than idiots, but you get the idea. When Harry Cohn saw the early rushes, he hit the roof. "No woman of mine can look that bad on screen," he declared, until he was reminded that Sheila Bennett was dying from smallpox. Evelyn actually relished playing this part, which was her most challenging to date, at least until her next film, The Prowler, which she considered her best performance. And yes, she was sweaty and agitated and in labor in that one too. Evelyn believed Harry Cohn insisted on her making this picture. She had been under contract to Columbia for almost 10 years because it would get her out of Hollywood, where she was having a hot and heavy affair with Kirk Douglas. Harry Cohn was notorious for injecting himself in the private lives of his actresses. According to Evelyn, the studio boss told her he was going to divorce his wife, Joan, so that he and Evelyn could get married. Now, maybe all the stress of this crazy situation helped Evelyn's performance. Eventually, she got out of her Columbia contract and moved to Europe. As for the actual smallpox virus that threatened New York in March 1947, patient zero in that case was Eugene Labar, a rug dealer from Maine returning home with his wife from a vacation in Mexico. They stopped off in Manhattan for a few days of sightseeing, but he soon checked into Bellevue Hospital complaining of fever and a rash. Before being transferred to a communicable disease center, Labar came in contact with several people at Bellevue who later reported similar symptoms. It was diagnosed as smallpox, and a full-fledged outbreak was feared. The U.S. Public Health Service swooped into New York and, in cooperation with New York City health officials, engineered one of the largest mass vaccination efforts ever conducted in America. In the first 2 weeks of the scare, more than 5 million people were vaccinated, and within a month, the total topped 6,350,000 free vaccinations. It was considered one of the most successful rapid responses to an outbreak ever. In the end, only 12 people were infected, 10 of whom recovered. Eugene Labar died from the disease, as did the wife of a hospital orderly he came in contact with. But that was it. 2 deaths total. That's how they did things in 1947. Be sure to join the conversation about today's film on the Noir Alley Facebook page and Twitter feed. And you won't see me here next weekend, as TCM is offering a full slate of Valentine's Day programming, and Noir apparently doesn't fit that bill. Too many betrayals and murders, I guess. But I'll be back in 2 weeks with films in February chosen specifically for Black History Month, including the TCM premiere of the recently restored 1951 film Native Son, from the landmark novel by Richard Wright, and starring the author himself. It's a film that came close to being lost, and I'm glad to have played a small part in its resurrection, and I'm thrilled it's having its TCM debut on Noir Alley. Till then, stay in the shadows.